Hey everybody! Today I'm going to be reading for you the News to You article for the week titled Video Game Hall of Fame. So this is not something I'm too familiar with, but I did find a news story to watch about this year's upcoming Video Game Hall of Fame. So let's watch that video first to start.
It's that time of year, the World Video Game Hall of Fame at the Strong Museum of Play, and as we do, one of our resident video game experts, Dan Gross, gives us an overview. The World Video Game Hall of Fame finalists, 12 games competing for a handful of slots in the hall.
This is a really strong class, top to bottom.
So let's start with our simulation games, Animal Crossing, Farmville, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. 3 games that might be a little slower paced, but they still can stand the test of time.
And then it's a franchise that has endured up to the present because it gives people something that is really hard to do in real life. Most of us never become pilots.
Next, foundational sports games, FIFA International Soccer, Pole Position, and the quirky Mattel Football, which helped us set the stage for portable gaming.
And then that led to Mattel getting into the video game industry, eventually Nintendo creating things like the Game Boy. And now with our phones, having games in there are really a built-in feature of that. And Mattel Football is really, I think, a key part.
Then 2 war games that put us right in the middle of World War II in Call of Duty, or a fight for survival across the whole Milky Way in StarCraft.
StarCraft was really an important game in bringing esports to a wider audience.
Next, 2 games that help us live other lives. An adventurer stuck in the computer world in Tron, or center stage playing an arena full of die-hard fans in Guitar Hero.
Yeah, we all want to be rock stars, don't we? And Guitar Hero gave us that chance.
And rounding out our lineup, 2 games with women protagonists, The Puzzler Portal and Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. Love that game. Of course, we already have our Guitar Hero right now. Dan Gross joining us. So you're a gamer. We've got a few other gamers in the office. First, your take and some others that you've gathered.
Totally. So it is the base, but I won't hold you against that. So yeah, first of all, it's also good to be here at 6, not here always this time. So I put those last 2 there because I wanted to highlight them. So there's zero way that Portal is going to get in.
Right.
But I love that game, and its humor spawned many a meme. And then Carmen Sandiego, remember last year we talked about the sidewalk chalk? We're like, yeah, how is that not made already?
Right.
This is sort of that same thing. It's been nominated a couple times. Female protagonist. It's the time for it to get in.
Yeah, probably. And look, we have some snarky members of the News 8 team.
What?
Not you. Not
Really?
you. Any fun takes from them?
One of my favorite things Alex Bednar, our producer, has ever said, he said, quote, Farmville is a waste of time. Olivia then threw up the double rock-on signs when she saw that Guitar Hero was nominated. And then, of course, JB had to chime in. This is a good one. Says Warcraft should be in before StarCraft, since Warcraft did start World of Warcraft, one of the biggest games of all time. So that's our office's take on the Video Game Hall of Fame.
Come on. I come here for snark, not insight, despite how good
I'm going to walk off.
All right,
If that's what you say, okay. I don't know what the expectations are anymore.
Dan, thank you.
So that just gave us a little bit of insight into maybe some of the games that maybe you play at home that possibly could be inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame. So let's start off on page 1 here. The World Video Game Hall of Fame is in Rochester, New York. The Hall of Fame honors video games. Video games include arcade games, computer games, console games, and more. So much like any other Hall of Fame, it includes a lot of categories. We have, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We have many a Sports Hall of Fame. But this is specifically just for video games. Let's move to page 2. Video games are added to the Hall of Fame each year. The Hall of Fame will add video games on May 6th, which is Thursday this week. They announce popular video games that may be added. 4 of the video games are Animal Crossing, FIFA International Soccer, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, and Guitar Hero. So I love the Animal Crossing games. I grew up playing them when they came out. They came out with a new one for the Switch in this past year, and that's been pretty fun to play. I've never played FIFA International Soccer. I've never played Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, but I have played Guitar Hero, and that's a pretty fun game too. Let's go to page 3. Animal Crossing is a video game on gaming consoles. Players do activities and collect objects. FIFA International Soccer is a video game on consoles too. Players play soccer games. FIFA is the most popular sports video game. So these are kind of two very different games. In Animal Crossing, you collect objects and you build houses. In FIFA International Soccer, International Soccer, you play soccer in the video game. Let's move on to page 4. The Carmen Sandiego video game is on computers. Players learn about different places around the world. Guitar Hero is a video game on gaming consoles. The controller for Guitar Hero looks like a guitar. Players pretend to play songs on guitars. So again, two very different video games. In the Carmen Sandiego game, you do learn about different places throughout the world. And Guitar Hero is just like what it sounds like. You play the guitar. Let's move on to page 5. The Hall of Fame will choose which video games to add. The video games will be added in a special ceremony. People can watch the ceremony online. They can learn more about the video games. People can learn about the Hall of Fame too. So this looks like if you were interested in watching it, it's something that you can watch online on that day. Let's move to page 6. People can visit the Hall of Fame. The Hall of Fame is in a museum. The Hall of Fame has many items about video games. The items include gaming consoles, controllers, pinball machines, posters, and more. So this is actually a physical place. If you wanted to go visit there, you could and see, like they said, some of the gaming consoles, controllers, pinball machines, all that kind of collectible stuff. You could go to the Video Game Hall of Fame and see it. Let's move on to page 7. People can learn about video games at the Hall of Fame. They can play video games too. The Hall of Fame will add video games on May 6th. The Hall of Fame will honor these video games. Would you like to visit the World Video Game Hall of Fame? So not only can you learn about the games there, but you can also play them, which is pretty cool. Let's move on to page 8. So this is all about the what of our article, which is video games. The World Video Game Hall of Fame honors video games. People of all ages play video games. Most people play video games for fun. People play video games on computers, gaming consoles, smartphones, tablets, and more. And I'm sure all of you in here have played a video game at one point in your life on any sort of console, right? So some of the popular ones, Xbox, PlayStation, the Switch, but you can also play games on your computer or on your phone or your tablet. Let's move on to page 9. So this is the where of our story, and this time it focuses on Rochester, New York. So the World Video Game Hall of Fame is in Rochester, New York. The Hall of Fame is in the Strong National Museum of Play. Rochester is in Western New York. Rochester is on Lake Ontario. Lake Ontario is one of the Great Lakes. Let's move on to page 10. Actually, page 12 is the joke page. So our joke says, knock, knock. Who's there? Year. Year who? Your favorite video game may be added. So instead of your favorite video game, it says your favorite. So This year, there's the Video Game Hall of Fame. Let's move on to page 13, the other joke. This one says, I have a joke. Tell me, why should pigs not play video soccer? Or why should pigs not play soccer? I don't know why. They hog the ball. So some people call pigs hogs is another term for them. So they might hog the ball. All right, here's our game page where we're going to circle words that we read from this article. Our first word over here says controller. Did we read about that today? We did read about controller because that's how you play most video games now, is with a controller. What about this one? It says visit. So you can visit the Video Game Hall of Fame. What about this word? It says popular. So a lot of the games that get inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame are partially there because of their popularity. What about jogging suit? No, we didn't talk about a jogging suit. What about the word online? So you can watch this Video Game Hall of Fame online if you wanted to. What about the words video games? So this whole article is about the Video Games Hall of Fame. So we will circle that one. What about the word crop? No, we didn't read about crops. What about the word honor? Are we honoring anything? So this is honoring some video games that are going to be inducted into the Video Game Hall of Fame. What about the word ad? Yep, so a lot of these games are going to be added into the Hall of Fame. What about the word jump rope? No. What about the word computer? Yep, so some of these games you can play on the computer. What about the word museum? Nice. Museum is a word we should circle because you can also go to the museum and see all the cool collectibles and stuff they have. What about the words balloon art? No. What about gaming console? So a lot of these games are played on different gaming consoles. What about the word ceremony? But this is a ceremony. What about the word player? So there needs to be a player to play the video games. Nice job. I'm going to clear my drawings and we can move on to the review page on page 15. So question 1 says, what is this paper about? Is it about Tulip Time Festival, Video Game Hall of Fame, or removing trash from space? Circle the answer you think is correct. Video Game Hall of Fame, option 2. Number 2, who can visit the Hall of Fame? People, fairies, or gnomes? Circle the answer you think is correct. People, option 1. So number 3, so where is the Hall of Fame? Little Rock, Arkansas, Tacoma, Washington, or Rochester, New York? It's in Rochester, New York. Number 4, what is the Hall of Fame in? Is it in a dentist's office, a restaurant, or a museum? Circle the answer you think is correct. It's in a museum, option 3. Number 5, when will the Hall of Fame add video games? June, May, or July? Circle the answer you think is correct. It's in May. It actually happens this Thursday. Number 6, what include arcade games, computer games, and console games. Is that video games, card games, or board games? Circle the answer you think is correct. Video games, option 1. Nice work, everybody. I'm going to clear my drawings, and then we are going to move on to the last page, the puzzle page. So remember, words that go across, we say they were written horizontally, and this is normally the way we write. And then we also write words that go down or vertically. This is not the way we normally write. We are going to start with our words that go across. Let's look for number 1, which is right here on your puzzle. Number 1 says computers. Computers is spelled C-O-M-P-U-T-E-R-S. That spells computers. So some of these games are computer games. Let's cross off number 1. Now we're going to look for number 5, which is right here in our puzzle. We're still going across, remember. That says museum. Museum is spelled M-U-S-E-U-M. That spells museum. We can cross it off. So not only is this an event happening on Thursday, but also it's a physical place. If you wanted to go tour the museum, you could. All right, number 6, across. We're still going across. 6 is right here in your puzzle, and it says video games. Video games is spelled V-I-D-E-O. And they already reminded us to take a space right here. So we're going to move on to spelling games, which is spelled G-A-M-E-S. That spells video games. We can cross off number 6. So the whole reason we're reading this is because it's the Video Game Hall of Fame's happening. Number 7 says honor. Let's find 7 in our puzzle right here. And honor is spelled H-O-N-O-R. That spells honor. We're going to honor the video games. Let's cross off number 7. Now we're going to move over to this side over here, and we're going to go to our downwards. number 1 is right here in our puzzle, and that word says controller. Controller is spelled C, which we've already written, O, N, T, R, O, we've already written, L, L, E, R, controller. Let's cross off number 1. Number 2, down, we're still going down, is right here in your puzzle, and that word says popular. Popular is spelled P, which is already written, O, P, U, which is already written, L, A, which is already written, R. So these are popular video games going into the Hall of Fame. We'll cross off number 2 down. Now we're into number 3, still going down. 3 in our puzzle is right here, and it says ceremony. Ceremony is spelled C, E, we've already written, R, E, we've already written, M, O, N, we've already written, Y. That spells ceremony. So the Video Game Hall of Fame is a ceremony that's happening on Thursday. Let's cross off number 3. Now we're going to move on to number 4 down. 4 is right here in our puzzle. That word says add. They're going to add video games. Add is spelled A, D, and D, which we've already written. Let's cross it off. We're on to our last word, number 6 down. It says visit. Visit is right here in our puzzle. Here's 6. It is spelled with V, which we've already written. I, S, I, T. So you can actually visit the Video Game Hall of Fame if you go to Rochester, New York. Let's cross it off. So I want to thank you all for watching today. If you'd like, you can now get out your accompanying packet to do about the Video Game Hall of Fame. You're going to need something to write with, like a pencil. You're going to need something to color with, markers, crayons, colored pencils, doesn't matter. Some glue and some scissors. I will see you guys next time. I hope you have a very, very wonderful day.